Hey there, Ebby here. Welcome back to the channel. This right here is Fuji Neopan 1600. See, a couple months ago, I was able to get my hands on 14 rolls of this film stock. Over the past couple of months, I've shot 13 rolls of this film stock at various ISO values. I have a lot of thoughts on this, and in this video, I want to share with you some of my thoughts and give you some tips when it comes to actually shooting with this film stock. When it comes to this Fuji Neopan 1600, it turns out it was only produced for 35mm. It was produced in the 1980s and it was discontinued in 2009. It is also known as a Super Presto in Japan, so if you do see anyone referring to Super Presto, they're talking about this Fuji 1600. It was developed by Fuji to be shot at variable ISOs from 200 all the way up to 1600, and can be developed using different chemicals and techniques and timings to get variable results. It was very good for low light conditions, and you do get very deep blacks when shooting with this film stock. Now, how was I able to get my hands on so many of this film stock? Let me tell you a story. You see, I'm always scouring the internet, scouring Facebook Marketplace, scouring anywhere to get my hands on new, rare, expired film. Now, when it comes to different places you can go, one of those places is a camera show. Now, back in early spring, I was at a camera show here in Toronto, Canada. Usually when you go to camera shows, the main attraction is, of course, the cameras. But I go there to find film. You see, I was going through the booths and I got to this one booth and I saw this guy with a lot of cameras, and he had this box of Fuji Neopan 1600 on his table. He had it sort of like as a display piece. I asked him about it and he was like, yeah, you don't want to get that because I found it with one of these cameras. It was not stored in good condition. It was in the attic. I wouldn't recommend that you buy that. And I took him at his word. Usually when I go to these events, I have a certain budget, so I wasn't trying to waste any money. I didn't even ask him how much it was. I was just like, you know what? He said it's not worth it. I'm just going to keep going. All right. As I was going through the booths at this camera show, I went to different booths, bought me a lot of film. But as I was leaving, I actually got to my car. I left the car show. I was in my car and I was still thinking about this box of Neopan 1600. And I'm like, I should go back and ask this guy how much it is. You know, worst case scenario, he says it's too much. I don't have the money. I don't buy it. I go to the guy. I have $40 left. I'm like, how much for this box? Now, at this point, I don't even know how many rolls are in here. I open up the box. I see there's a lot of rolls. And he's like, you really, really want this? I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, I'll give it to you for 40 bucks. All right. I have 40 bucks left. I'm like, yes, I'll take this for 40 bucks. I get in there. I take the box, come back out, start counting it. Turns out there's 14 rolls in here. Now, the rolls and the box look in good condition. And me thinking, like, it's 40 bucks. How much is 40 bucks? That's like one roll of Portrait 400, 2 rolls of Kodak Gold, if you're being modest. And I'm like, you know what? Worst case scenario, this turns into nothing and I've just wasted money. I go online, I search for the price of this film stock. It's like 50 bucks for one roll on eBay. Like, if you can even find it to buy. And I'm like, yo, I just hit the jackpot. I just hit the ultimate jackpot when it comes to this film stock. I could sell this and make so much money, but no, I decide that I'm going to shoot every single roll of this. Now, when it comes to expired film, the first thing you want to do is test it to see what ISO you should shoot it at. Obviously, that's what I did. So immediately I loaded up in my Leica, shoot it at different situations under different lighting conditions, shoot it at 200, 400, 800, and 1600. I get home, I develop it at box speed, which is 1600, and the results are usable. The results are workable. After getting the test roll back and seeing that this film is actually good, I'm just thinking to myself how I almost missed out on this jackpot. And I decided that, you know, I'm going to take this film stock out with me. It's going to become one of my day-to-day film stock that I shoot with. I'm going to be shooting it at 400, sometimes 800, but mostly 400. I take it out with me on different days, on different occasions, and I'm going to be showing you some of the results I was able to get with this film stock. And I'm going to be talking to you a little bit on the other side of this photos, talking to you about my thoughts when it comes to actually shooting with this Fuji Neopan 1600. The first thing you notice about this film is that this film is grainy. Usually with high-speed black and white film, you get a lot of grain. Pair that up with the fact that this film is expired and you get even more grain, right? Shooting this at 800, the blacks get really, really black. Like you literally can't see any information in the blacks. At 400, you can get a little more shadow detail. I shot most of this at 400 and 800. I really didn't want to shoot it at 200 because I really like contrasty images when it comes to black and white images. And this film stock gave me all the contrast and all the grain that I could want from any film stock imaginable. I shot this on my Leica M2. I also shot a couple of rolls on my half frame camera to give it even more grain. And I am really, really excited with the results that I was able to get with this. This film stock sort of reminds me of shooting with Kodak P3200 or even Ilford Delta 3200. But even the fact that it's expired gives it a little bit more grain, and that's what I love when it comes to these types of film stocks. It just gives it a little bit more character. And the fact that it's even expired just makes it even that much more interesting, at least for me. Now, when it comes to the negatives itself, once developed, the film, usually with expired film, you get them curling up a lot, but this film stock does not curl up. It doesn't even curl up at all. It's very, very easy to scan. And even when it comes to development, this film develops in about 4 to 4.5 minutes, which is like crazy when it comes to film stocks. Usually when it's black and white film, you're looking at anything from, let's say 6, 7, 8, sometimes even 10 minutes. And now I developed this mostly in Rodinal at 1 to 25 for 4 to 4.5 minutes. This is my last roll of this Fuji Neopan 1600. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to shoot this again because this film stock is hard to get, and even when you do find it, they usually go for about $50 a roll plus shipping on eBay. Now, I don't know what I'm going to use this last roll to shoot with. I might just keep it and just save it for something special down the line, or I might just load it in my camera at some point and just shoot it in the street, or I might just leave it in the fridge for a long time just to look at it and show that I have it. But after shooting these 13 rolls, if you do get a chance to get yourself some Fuji Neopan 1600, I would suggest jumping at it. And definitely shooting it at 200 if you want shadow detail, and 400, obviously depending on when it expired. Now that you've seen the results, now that I've talked to you a little about what I like about this film stock and you've seen the characteristics of it, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the results I was able to get from this rolls of Fuji Neopan 1600. If you want to see some of the results I got from this, I'm going to be posting this on my blog, FilmStockReel.com. Check in the description down below, right under the like button. And if you like these types of videos, do the things. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, as this goes a very long way to making sure I produce more content like this. Until next time, make sure you stay safe, make sure you shoot film, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye. Yeah. Fuji Neopan. Fuji Neopan.